final episode of the year of Renaissance-Bodybuilder, a sneak peek into my mental health journey as I navigate through what it really means to be on a journey of self-discovery. Welcome. I am your host, Michael Otule. How are y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? I'm gonna apologize. Yes, the schedule has been like all over the place, but it's just because a lot has happened. And a lot has happened in the last, month, I should say, which I do want to talk about in like the next episode, which will probably be the first episode of the year. So stay tuned for that. But this will be a jam-packed episode, so let's jump right in on with how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. I am feeling pretty inspired, to be honest. Granted, a lot has happened in this year alone and still happening, bro. Oh my God, it's something new every single day on the news. I don't watch it every day, but I still like to stay abreast of what is going on in the world. And y'all, let's hold on. Hold on strong. They are really trying to break us, but hey, continue doing you, continue loving on yourself, continue loving on your loved ones, and living life, bro. One thing to remember though is have patience with yourself and have patience with others, because everybody's going through it. I mean, everybody. One thing that I am excited about though is I remember telling you guys that I want to start introducing interviews into Renaissance Bodybuilder, but I was very hesitant on that because I'm just nervous. Also because I feel like my perfectionism tries to take over and it's just like, how should it be? How should it go? What questions should I ask? How should it look? How should I post it? I finally quiet down the noise and I just kind of sat with myself and said, what do you want to do and how do you want it to look? I know that I want it to be like fun. I want it to be snippy. I want it to be quick. And I want it to be still important and useful. And you get to know the person that I'm interviewing, right? So I have found a interview style that I really, really like, and I think I should say, just because I haven't tried it yet, because I'm starting small and then slowly ramping up with the whole interview. So stay tuned for that. I do want to talk about Thanksgiving. I went back home to Houston, but I wanted to do a couple things different this year. One, I did not want to stay with my mom this year. I wanted to stay with my brother so I could play with my nephew, create memories, to get pictures. He remembers me. I am Uncle Mike with the muscles. I love it. I eat it up, trust me. Oh my God, we were wrestling. I threw him on the couch. That boy plays with his toys like 7 times a day. Oh my God, it's like nonstop. I commend my brother, bro. It is insane. But then also I wanted to talk to my mom about the whole gayness thing. We never really sat and talked after I came out, and we kind of did. Left me a little disappointed. So it came up in the midst of us talking about something else, where I was just like, hey mom, we never really talked about the letter or anything about it, like anything about, me or surrounding. And she was just like, well, what is there to talk about? I was just like, well, how do you feel? Like, where do we go from here? What's going on? And well, she pretty much just, in a nutshell, just said, she don't accept it, she doesn't support it, so there's nothing to talk about. I live my life like I want to. She'll just continue praying for me. Now, in the midst of that conversation, because it was that short, I was just like, ugh, whatever, fine, right? And kept it pushing. But later on, sitting down and processing all of that, it hit me to where it was just like, well, being gay is pretty much who I am, at least half of me or most of me. It's like really big part of me, right? So to me, I read that as, oh, you don't want to get to know me. You don't want to get to know this part of me. You just want to know the parts that you're accepting. And that didn't sit right with me. So I talked to like my really close friend, my best friend from Houston, and she kind of just helped me understand, because she's been here, well, not in this exact boat, but in a boat where you have to just kind of accept where your mother is at. It's not something that you can really just change. Now I have to kind of move forward in this. But what does that look like? I'm not too sure. Should I continue divulging information? Could I continue being quote unquote comfortable around her? I don't know. And honestly, I don't know if I can. And basically my friend was just saying, that it's okay. Not every relationship has to work out the way you think it should. And acceptance is a big part of that, both ways. So I have to accept that my mom is just not with it, and she's accepting that I am. Acceptance goes both ways. So I'm still sitting in that. I'm still processing all of that because reminiscing about the relationship that I did have with my mom, we were like really cool, really tight, really close. And like now I'm no longer going to get that, even when I possibly have kids or possibly have a partner. I can't really share that with her. Maybe the kid part, because I guess she loves kids, regardless of how they come. Because I mean, my brother got a kid out of wedlock, and she loved that boy. So I guess kids are off limits, but everything is. I don't know. It's a weird space that I'm in right now. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I know that acceptance is what I have to get to so I can move on. But even speaking in that same breath with my mom, things happen this break too. So one of the things being my little brother proposed to his gal. Did I cry? Yes, of course. Like, come on. Literally. It was a beautiful occasion that I deeply enjoyed. There was flowers everywhere. They wanted it real intimate, just immediate family and close friends. It was very, very beautiful. But also, in that same breath, my mom was the one who actually kind of pushed my brother into proposing to his gal because, and they've been together for a long time, but they were deciding to move to Boston. They decided to move to Boston and live together. And in a Christian household, living together without being married is a no-go. So my mom was strongly advising for them to get married. She even, devised a plan saying, why not propose and then, do the civil wedding, and then later on, when y'all are ready, do the actual white wedding and traditional wedding. So my brother actually took that advice. He set dates. And then as the dates got closer, my mom decided to start tripping. Like, she asked him, like, hey, what, can't you move the proposal to a different day? I have a church event that day. And I had to sit here and explain to her, like, why that was not okay. And she was just like, why can't he, ask us, like, what our schedule is? And, and then ask them. I'm just like, what? Do you even hear yourself? That is crazy. That is bananas to me. And even with the civil wedding, it was just like, why can't you have it in Houston? Why do you have to have it all the way in Boston? And why can't you move it? This and that. Like, it was annoying. And I know my brother was super annoyed. Like, he was actually over it. But everything went smoothly, or at least the best that it could. But yeah, my mom has just really been showing some colors that I'm not too happy about. That's something I don't know. Should I talk to her about it, or should I just like let her be? I don't know. But overall, Thanksgiving was amazing. I got to hang out with my friends there too. It was good, man. It was a really good time. I also got to relax, which rare, but Thanksgiving was great. And then lastly, I love the fact that I've really been sitting in my homosexuality. I've been sitting in it, I've been loving it, and I've been saying it out loud. For instance, so I'm in downtown DC, just walking around, minding my business, doing my thing thistle, right? I get to a corner building and I'm just like, bro, I'm sitting there. So I just stand there and I'm just like taking it all in. Next thing you know, this dude comes up and just starts talking to me, starts striking a conversation. It was regular conversation. It was pretty cool, pretty normal. And then towards the end of the conversation, he was like pointed to this club and he was just like, oh brother, there's some ladies up in there if you want to like, find somebody, find you a nice little lady or whatever. And then in my mind, I was just like, all right, look, Mike, you have two options. You can play along like you usually do and be like, oh yeah, no, I'll go check it out. You could do that. Or you could shake the table a little bit and tell him like, no, where the niggas at? Guess which one I did? Yeah, where them niggas at, bruh? So I was just like, oh no, bro, I'm gay. Like, but where the niggas? Are the niggas still in there? You know what I'm saying? Like he would know. But he was just like, oh, hey man, I respect y'all, I love y'all, you know what I'm saying? Even my mama gay, whatever. I was like, bro. Okay, cool. You don't have to do all that, dude. But I appreciated it. But then also I was really, really very, very actually intensely proud of myself for actually just saying it out loud. Like, one, I don't know this dude for nothing, so I don't owe him nothing, but just saying it out loud, hearing myself say it, and just own it. It just felt really, really, really special and really, really good. I'm gonna definitely cherish that moment forever. But yeah, that's how I've been feeling. A lot more has happened, but I'm still processing a lot of it, and we'll definitely talk about it in the next episode. Let's move on to the 3 affirmations that I found favorable this week, starting with I'm becoming the person my healing has been waiting for. Bro, from the example I just gave, like, yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of listening to podcasts, a lot of listening to people, speeches, to just really understand what a healing journey should look like, what you should be learning on a healing journey, and then what you should be doing, some of the things you should be doing to get to the other side. Me actually doing those things and now being on the other side, I mean, I still got work to do, but it just feels really, really good. Like, really good. The next one, I am safe to expand, evolve, and outgrow the version of me that survived my past. Yeah, baggage. No need to hang on to that version of myself. I'm no longer he is no longer me. I'm very, very happy about that. Like, what is that? That's growth, right? And then lastly, I am worthy of the peace I keep trying to create for everyone else. This is actually one of my favorite ones. It's because, like, I deserve the time, the space, and the patience that I give to others. That's partly why I do it. And, the other part just being that's just who I am. But yeah, like, I feel like I deserve what I put out. I don't see why everyone shouldn't, as long as it's good. That's like one of my favorite ones. I'm definitely gonna put that up on the wall. But yeah, those are the 3 affirmations that I found favorable this week. Again, these affirmations can be found in the I Am app in your application store. Your application store is wild. But yeah, they can be found in your app store. Moving on to what this episode is about. From the title, you see there is power in owning your vulnerability. In this episode, I'm going to go over why it's important to own your vulnerability, how you can use it, when is the wrong time to, show vulnerability, and then also give you some examples. So let's begin. We have to remember vulnerability is an invitation and not a weakness. It's very interesting to me, and I'm not saying that it's, weird or anything, but it's just very interesting to me that a lot of people associate vulnerability to weakness, as I don't think I've really done that. It's just I've never been no, I don't think I've really done that. And a lot of my vulnerability I learned at a very young age. A lot of it just being how close I was with my mom. But with that came pet peeves, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Vulnerability lowers defenses. People feel safer, seen, and less alone. When you share even a small truth about how you feel, you signal, you don't have to perform here. You can be human with me. There's a quiet power in leading with honesty. It sets the tone for real connection. One of the things that I really love hearing people say, not to toot my own horn, but toot, I hear is, wow, I never thought I would say that to anyone, or I never told anyone that. I love hearing that, just because it lets me know that I have created a safe space for you to now share, where you think that I am someone to share said information with. Like, and I love that. Like, I want you to, like, that's what I want. I want you to open up. I want you to share, just because it creates deeper connection with people, especially if you really want it. Many people move through the world armored. Your softness gives them permission to take the armor off. Speaking of, I had a tweet that went semi-viral, I guess, where I said, like, if I say, how you been, or how's it going, and all you answer is, I'm good, how about you? I'm just going to assume that you don't want to talk and then move on. And the reason why I said that is because I'm good, how about you leaves zero room, not really zero, but because now I just have to get creative with what I want to ask next. But it just kind of like, there's no invitation into said world, into moving into a conversation, because I can't really get anything from you with I'm good. Because now you're saying, how about you? I'm about to go into a spill. And when I go into the spill, I'm expecting you to, like, ask me questions from the spill, dig a little deeper, like, what, if you found something that resonated, what you say it, stuff like that. I can't really resonate or ask any questions with I'm good. So then, because then now my next question would be, What makes you good? How are you good? That's what I meant by that tweet. But then people saying the opposite of like, well, what am I supposed to say? This and the other kind of just shows me that a lot of people are not as one creative, and or there's a lot of people that are just shut off, that are armored and don't necessarily, I guess, maybe even know how or have the tools to or even want to share as much or open up as much because they maybe think of that being a weakness, and that's just not the case. So my goal here with this episode is to try to turn that idea of thinking this is a weakness into something stronger. Like vulnerability is much more than that, much more than just a weakness. Anyways, but yes, so vulnerability shapes the relationships you attract. People who prefer the real you, not the curated version. And then now that I'm trying to tell you, now that we're in the social media world, I feel like vulnerability, connection, trying to get the real out of people is like at the top of at least my list. Because I don't necessarily want to know your Instagram person, just because no one's going to really show their flaws on Instagram or social media in general, right? No one's going to show, their deep thoughts on Instagram. Not saying that you should share them, but I can't get much of a connection with somebody with just me, with them just showing me all their goods. You know what I mean? All their great moments in life. Now that we see that vulnerability should not be looked at as a weakness, how about owning it? What does it mean to own your vulnerability? So owning your vulnerability means no one can use it against you. When you name and accept your truth, it stops being a weapon in someone else's eyes. You're not hiding, you're not performing, you're not managing any image. Vulnerability becomes a tool for self-respect. You choose what you share, how you share it, and with whom. So it's just like owning your identity. Once you own it, like no one can take it away from you. No one can tell you differently because that's yours. That's your shit. Healing happens when you stop running from the parts of yourself you fear others will judge. Owning your vulnerability brings peace. You stop trying to control how you're perceived. This is actually something that I'm even still working on. I've asked around on how I'm perceived online, and I'm just like, do I want to change that? Do I like that? I don't know. But honestly, it doesn't matter as long as I know I am a good person and I'm, putting out good into this world. Bro, perceive me how you want to. Connections will be made if they need to, based on the universe. But I just feel like as long as I am putting out good into this world and I know that I am a good person, I'll be right. This is especially important for us LGBTQIA plus folks, Black men, and anyone conditioned to be strong. That strong friend, that strong friend never shows vulnerability, never shows like who they really are just because they feel like they have to be strong for everybody. Your pain doesn't define you, but your ability to speak about it does. For me, my gayness, like I said in the beginning of this episode, owning my homosexuality, and being able to be out and proud about it is something that was heavy on my shoulders for a very, very long time because I felt like I couldn't share it. I couldn't be myself. What will people say? What will people think about me? Now that I am fully accepting of who I am, and I don't care how you think of me, bro. I'm good, man. You feel me? No, I'm playing. In the comment section, share how embracing your vulnerability helped you stop worrying about being misunderstood or judged. I would definitely like to hear your stories on that one. So then now, when is vulnerability not okay to share? And what do you need to know that it's not okay to share? I'll tell you, that is discernment. Okay, vulnerability requires safe containers. Not every relationship is one. Oversharing with someone who hasn't earned your trust can lead to being dismissed, minimized, or misunderstood. Emotional boundaries are just as important as emotional openness. You can be honest without handing someone your entire emotional history. And so, what does that look like? For me, when you first meet somebody, you're not just gonna automatically start sharing. You know what I mean? Like sharing everything. A word vomit, right? No. I feel like it's like a ease into, drop something, see how it works. See how they react, see what they do, see if they open up themselves. Even just listening, honestly, like listening to what they say. Like, are they talking about somebody? Are they talking about themselves? Are they evil spirited? These are things you could kind of tell by, discernment, just like listening. Here are some cues to look for when, trying to decide, should I be vulnerable with this person? Do they listen? Do they show care? Do they respect what you're saying? Are they like having an actual conversation with you? Are they trying to dig deeper? Are they like really interested? Are they finding similarities? And lastly, do they share with you at a similar depth? Or are they still trying to be surface level with you as you are sharing like a little deeper, like, or what you deem as deep information? All of that is just by listening and talking and actually being in the conversation. If the answer is no, then vulnerability may not be the healthiest choice in that moment. Here's an example, pretty sure we've all heard of and we're all familiar with. Someone shares something deeply personal earlier on, and the other person responds with judgment or gossip. A reminder that vulnerability without discernment can become self-betrayal. One of the things that I do that helps me decide, like, if this is a relationship that I want to go deeper or if I want to be vulnerable in, is literally by listening. Like I said before, like I'll listen to the things that they say, the conversations they have, but like I mentioned, I'll drop a little bit, here and there. Were they interested? Even if they're not interested, they ask questions, they ask probing questions, stuff like that. Or I'll do the opposite. I will ask questions to try and pull things out to see if they open up. If they are very hesitant on it, if they like don't answer me all the way, then I know, all right, let me pull back a little bit and just, go about my business. So discernment is definitely what you want here. In the comment section, talk about how you learn to read emotional safety in people, even if it wasn't from a single dramatic moment. I would definitely love to hear what you guys do what helps you decide, like, let me be a little vulnerable here, or let me pull back a little bit. I'm definitely interested. All right, and then lastly, examples, like what what does that look like? The practice, how to start owning your vulnerability without fear. Start small. Like I mentioned before in episodes before, like my mentor always tells me, start small. You don't have to lead with your deepest wound. Share something real but manageable, and observe how the other person holds on. Literally just said that. Normalize saying, this is uncomfortable for me, but I want to share it anyways. Vulnerability is definitely using your words. Literally just saying, hey, I don't know if I'm ready to share that. Let's move on. Just actually saying it. You don't have to like, be dramatic about it and be like, ugh, what you all in my business? Like, chill. Remember, vulnerability is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger and easier it becomes. That is actually something my brother told me. My brother is like very outgoing, very extroverted at times, and he told me that he loves going to like the bars by himself, going out by himself, eating out by himself, stuff like that. And then people come up to him, he meets people. Even my best friend too, she loves like going out to the bar by herself, and then talking to people. I know I like that is something that I admire, and that's something I want to do and try, but I wouldn't know unless I try. It's not gonna like come in my head like, okay, boom, I'm out here. You know what I mean? I have to at least put myself out there. I have to at least do it. So it's the same thing with vulnerability, y'all. You have to try it. You have to at least start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Reframe fear as excitement. Vulnerability is a doorway to deeper connection, not a threat or a weakness. If someone mishandles your vulnerability, it reflects their limitations, not your worth. Let me say that again, because that one needs to stick. If someone mishandles your vulnerability, it reflects their limitations, not your worth. You worth it, boo. And lastly, owning your story builds inner peace and emotional freedom. Like I said, owning my homosexuality has like been almost like, should I say lifesaver? Yeah, lifesaver. Huge weight off my shoulders. So that is the episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. It really does help the channel grow. I love you guys. Again, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. Peace.